Zara stepped off the spacecraft and felt Earth's gravity pull at her in a way she'd never experienced before. Everything felt heavier here, including the air itself. She took a deep breath and smiled. This was it. 6 months on Earth as part of the Intergalactic Cultural Exchange Program. She'd studied human behavior for years on Luminara, but nothing could have prepared her for the real thing. A family stood waiting for her at the landing site. The father, Michael, waved enthusiastically. His wife, Lisa, held a handmade welcome sign that read, "Welcome to Earth, Zara." Their 3 kids bounced around them with excitement. The oldest boy looked about 12, the middle daughter maybe 9, and the youngest was a tiny thing, couldn't be more than 5 years old. "You must be exhausted from your journey," Lisa said warmly, pulling Zara into an unexpected hug. On Luminara, physical contact was rare. Zara stiffened at first, then awkwardly patted Lisa's back, trying to mimic what she'd seen in training videos. The drive to their home in the suburbs was overwhelming. Zara pressed her face against the car window, watching everything zip by. Fast food restaurants, shopping centers, people walking dogs, children playing in parks. It was so much more colorful and chaotic than anything she'd seen in the research materials. "Do you have families like ours on your planet?" The middle daughter, Sophie, asked from the back seat. Zara turned around to face her. "We have family units, yes, but they look different. We don't have children the same way you do." "How do you have babies then?" Sophie asked innocently. "Sophie, maybe let's save the big questions for later." Michael laughed nervously from the driver's seat. "Let Zara settle in first." But Zara was already intrigued. "It's okay. I want to learn everything. On Luminara, we create new life through something called essence merging. 2 or more Luminarans come together, share their consciousness telepathically, and from that mental and spiritual connection, new consciousness forms. There's no physical process involved." The car went quiet for a moment. Even the youngest child stopped playing with her toy. "That's beautiful," Lisa finally said. "But very different from us." The family's home was cozy and lived in. Photographs covered every wall, showing years of birthday parties, holidays, and random Tuesday afternoons. Zara had never seen so many captured moments. On Luminara, memories were shared telepathically. Why freeze them in pictures? That first week passed in a blur of new experiences. Zara learned that humans ate 3 times a day, sometimes more. She discovered that they spent 1/3 of their lives unconscious, which they called sleeping. She found out that human children required constant supervision, unlike Luminaran young who were born with full telepathic abilities and collective knowledge. But the biggest surprise came 2 weeks into her stay. The family had gathered for Sunday dinner, which Zara learned was a weekly tradition. Extended family members filled the house with aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents. Everyone talked over each other, laughed too loud, and hugged constantly. It was beautiful chaos. Lisa stood up and tapped her glass with a spoon. The room fell silent. "Michael and I have some news to share," she said, her eyes glistening with tears. Happy tears, Zara had learned. Humans cried when they were happy too, which still confused her. "We're going to have another baby." The room erupted in cheers and congratulations. Everyone rushed to hug Lisa and Michael. Zara sat frozen, processing this information. Another baby? They were creating another human life? "That's wonderful," Zara said enthusiastically once things calmed down. "When will the essence merging ceremony happen? Can I observe? We never get to study human consciousness formation directly." The room went silent again, but this time it felt different. Uncomfortable. The adults exchanged glances. The children giggled into their hands. Zara," Michael said carefully. "That's not quite how humans make babies." "Oh, I know it's different from our way," Zara continued, pulling out her data pad. She'd been taking notes on everything. "But I've read that human reproduction involves genetic material from 2 parents combining to create new life. Is there a ceremony? Do you need to register with a planetary authority first?" More giggling from the kids. Lisa's face had turned an interesting shade of pink. "Maybe we should talk about this later," Lisa suggested gently. But Zara's scientific curiosity was fully activated now. I'm confused. In my research, the biological process was explained, but not the cultural aspects. How do humans decide to create offspring? Is it a community decision? Do you need permission from your government? Michael cleared his throat. It's a private decision between two people who love each other very much. Fascinating. And this private decision, does it require any technology, special equipment, medical supervision? The 12-year-old boy, Jake, burst out laughing. She really doesn't know. Jake, quiet, Michael said firmly, though his own face was red now too. Zara looked around at everyone's faces, completely puzzled. Have I said something wrong? I apologize if I've violated a cultural norm. I'm here to learn. Lisa took a deep breath. No, you haven't done anything wrong. It's just that human reproduction is considered a private topic. We don't usually discuss it openly, especially not at family dinners. But why? Zara asked genuinely. On Luminara, essence merging is celebrated publicly. It's one of our most beautiful ceremonies. The entire community participates in welcoming new consciousness. Humans are different, Lisa explained. The process of making babies is intimate and personal. It involves physical closeness between two people. Zara's eyes widened as understanding began to dawn. Physical? You mean the biological process I read about actually happens? I thought that was just medical terminology. I assumed humans had evolved past physical reproduction like most advanced species. Nope, Jake said with a grin, still doing it the old-fashioned way. Jacob! Lisa's voice was sharp now, but Zara was standing up, her excitement building. This is incredible. So human reproduction involves actual physical contact and emotional connection, and you create new life through this combination? This is so much more complex than I understood. She began pacing, her mind racing. The research papers made it sound clinical and simple. But if emotion is involved and physical intimacy and privacy, then there are psychological factors, social factors, cultural factors. This is remarkable. Michael and Lisa exchanged another look. They could see where this was headed. And you're saying, Zara continued, turning to face Lisa and Michael directly, that you two decided together to create this new life? Just the two of you? No ceremony? No community involvement? No telepathic merging? That's right, Michael confirmed. Zara's face lit up with pure wonder. So white people make children this way? Can I try too? The entire room froze. Forks stopped halfway to mouths. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the youngest child stopped chewing. I mean, Zara rushed to clarify, not understanding the reaction. For scientific purposes, of course, to better understand human biology and culture. If I'm going to write a proper report about Earth, I should experience all aspects of human life, shouldn't I? Lisa's grandmother, who had been quiet until now, started laughing so hard she had to wipe tears from her eyes. Oh, honey, she said between laughs. You've got a lot to learn about humans. Michael stood up quickly. How about we clear these dishes? Lisa, maybe you and Zara could talk privately. As everyone scrambled to busy themselves with something, anything. Zara remained standing in the middle of the room, her datapad clutched in her hand, completely confused about what she'd said wrong, but absolutely certain she'd just stumbled onto the most fascinating aspect of human culture she'd encountered yet. She had come to Earth thinking she understood humans. She'd studied their history, their biology, their social structures. But in that moment, surrounded by red faces and nervous laughter, Zara realized she hadn't understood anything at all, and that made her more excited than ever to learn. Lisa led Zara to the back porch where they could talk privately. The evening air was cool, and somewhere in the distance a dog barked. Zara sat down on the porch swing, still clutching her datapad, ready to take notes. I apologize if I embarrassed you, Zara said immediately. I'm still learning what topics are acceptable in group settings. Lisa smiled and sat beside her. You didn't embarrass me. Well, maybe a little. But mostly you just surprised everyone. Zara, when you said you wanted to try making children, what exactly did you mean? I meant for research purposes, Zara explained. On Luminara, We study other species by experiencing their key life processes when possible. If creating offspring is central to human culture, shouldn't I understand it fully? Lisa took a deep breath. Okay, let me explain something. Human reproduction isn't just a biological process. It's deeply personal and emotional. It happens between two people who care about each other deeply, who have built trust and connection over time. Zara tilted her head, processing this information. Like a partnership bond? Yes, exactly. But more than that, humans fall in love. We develop strong emotional and physical feelings for specific individuals. And when two people love each other enough, sometimes they decide to build a life together and maybe have children. But you already have 3 children, Zara pointed out. Why create another? Lisa laughed softly. Because we love being parents. Each child brings something unique and wonderful into our lives. Yes, it's exhausting and expensive and sometimes overwhelming, but it's also the most meaningful thing we've ever done. Exhausting? Expensive? Zara made notes on her pad. Luminar and Young are self-sufficient from creation. They're born with access to all collective knowledge and can care for themselves immediately. Human children can't do this. Not even close, Lisa said. Human babies are completely helpless. They can't walk, talk, or feed themselves. They require constant care day and night for years. Even after they grow older, they need guidance, education, emotional support. Raising a human child takes at least 18 years of active parenting, and honestly, it never really ends. Zara's eyes widened. 18 years? That's almost a full luminaire and generation cycle. And you choose to do this? Multiple times? We do, Lisa confirmed. Because the love we feel for our children makes it worthwhile. Watching them grow, learn, become their own people. There's nothing else like it. Over the following days, Lisa made it her mission to help Zara truly understand human relationships and reproduction. They watched nature documentaries together, though Zara found the mating rituals of Earth animals even more confusing. They talked about love, attraction, commitment, and family. Zara observed Michael and Lisa interact, noting the small gestures of affection, the way they communicated without words sometimes, how they supported each other through daily challenges. She saw how they divided childcare responsibilities, how they made decisions together, how they still made time for just the two of them even with 3 kids constantly demanding attention. This is far more complex than essence merging, Zara admitted one afternoon. Luminarian reproduction is simple and clean. 2 consciousnesses decide to create a third, they merge, and it's done. No physical requirements, no emotional vulnerability, no years of dependency. Sounds efficient, Lisa said as she folded laundry, her 4th load of the day. But humans aren't built for efficiency. We're built for connection. The turning point came when Lisa took Zara to her doctor's appointment. The medical center was busy, filled with expectant mothers in various stages of pregnancy. Zara watched them all with fascination, noting how some women glowed with joy while others looked tired and uncomfortable. In the examination room, Dr. Patricia Chen greeted them warmly. She was used to unusual situations, but even she did a double take when Lisa introduced Zara. An alien observer? Well, that's a first, Dr. Chen said with a smile. Zara, do you have any questions about human pregnancy? About 1,000, Zara admitted. Dr. Chen explained the entire process. How a fertilized egg implanted in the uterus, how it grew over 9 months, how the mother's body changed to accommodate the developing baby. She showed them the ultrasound equipment and let Zara see the blurry image of the tiny life growing inside Lisa. That's your baby? Zara breathed, staring at the screen. That small cluster of cells will become a complete human. In about 6 more months, yes, Lisa said, holding Michael's hand tightly. This is incredible, Zara whispered. She turned to Dr. Chen. Is this process dangerous for Lisa? It can be, Dr. Chen said honestly. Human childbirth used to be very dangerous, and even with modern medicine, there are risks. Lisa will need to be monitored carefully. Her body will go through significant changes, some uncomfortable or even painful. The actual birth process is intense and physically demanding. Zara looked at Lisa with new respect. And you choose this? Knowing the risks and discomfort? Lisa smiled, still watching the ultrasound screen. I choose this. We choose this. Because at the end of all that discomfort and risk, we get to meet our child. We get to hold them, love them, watch them grow. It's worth every difficult moment. After the appointment, Zara was unusually quiet. They stopped at a park on the way home, and Zara watched human families interact. Parents pushed children on swings. Toddlers stumbled on unsteady legs while adults hovered nearby ready to catch them. Teenagers sat in groups trying to figure out who they were. "I need to tell you something," Zara said suddenly. "When I first asked about trying to make a child, I was thinking about it like a research experiment, something to study and document. But now I realize how wrong that thinking was." Lisa waited, letting her continue. "Creating a human life isn't an experiment. It's not something you do for curiosity or research. It's a profound commitment. It requires love, sacrifice, patience, and dedication. It requires putting another person's needs above your own for years, maybe forever." Zara paused. "I'm not ready for that. I don't know if I'll ever be ready for that." "Most people feel that way," Lisa assured her. "Even humans who grow up seeing families every day often wonder if they're ready for children. It's a huge responsibility. But I'm still curious," Zara admitted. "I want to understand human love and family, even if I'm not ready to experience it myself yet." Lisa had an idea. "How about you help me with this pregnancy? You can learn about the whole process firsthand without the responsibility of it being your own child. You'll see the good parts and the hard parts. By the end, you'll understand human reproduction better than any researcher who just reads about it." Zara's face brightened. "Would you really let me do that?" "Of course. You're part of our family now." That evening, Zara messaged her supervisors on Luminara with an update. She explained that human reproduction was far more complex than their research indicated, that it involved psychological and emotional factors that couldn't be quantified in medical terms, and that she needed more time to fully understand it. The response came quickly. Her supervisors were intrigued and approved extended observation. They also sent a warning, though. Some members of the Luminaran Council were concerned about her getting too involved in human culture. They reminded her that she was there to observe, not participate. But as Zara sat with the family that night, watching Michael read bedtime stories to the younger kids while Lisa rested with her feet up, hand on her growing belly, Zara realized something important. You couldn't truly understand human family by just observing from the outside. You had to be part of one. 3 months into her stay on Earth, Zara's life had become something she never expected. She wasn't just an observer anymore. She was part of the family's daily chaos, helping with homework, learning to cook human food, and watching Lisa's belly grow rounder each week. But everything changed the day a local news reporter showed up at their door. "We heard there's an alien living in the suburbs," the reporter said, camera crew behind her. "The one who asked about human reproduction at a family dinner? Our viewers would love to hear her story." Michael tried to close the door politely, but the story was already out there. Someone at that dinner party had posted about it on social media. By evening, Zara's innocent question had gone viral. The internet had opinions, and they weren't all kind. Some people found her curiosity adorable. They made funny videos, wrote supportive comments, and defended her right to learn about human culture. Others were less welcoming. They questioned why an alien was being allowed to live among humans, accused her of having ulterior motives, and said terrible things that made Zara's heart hurt in ways she didn't know were possible. "Why are they so angry?" Zara asked Lisa, scrolling through comments on her tablet. "I only wanted to learn." "Because people fear what they don't understand," Lisa explained gently. "And your question touched on something humans are already uncomfortable discussing. It's easier for some people to be mean than to try to understand." The attention grew worse. News vans parked outside their house. Reporters shouted questions whenever anyone left the house. Jake stopped inviting friends over because their parents had opinions about the alien living next door. Sophie got teased at school. Even little Amy asked if Zara was going to leave because people didn't like her. "I should go," Zara said one night after a particularly rough day. "I'm causing problems for your family. This isn't fair to any of you." "You're not going anywhere," Michael said firmly. "You're part of this family now. We don't abandon family just because things get difficult." But Zara felt guilty. She'd come to learn about humans, not make their lives harder. Then something unexpected happened. She got invited to a talk show, a major one. The producer said they wanted to have an honest conversation about her experience on Earth, to let her tell her story in her own words. Michael and Lisa were hesitant, but Zara wanted to do it. Maybe, if people understood where she came from and why she asked those questions, they'd stop being so harsh. The studio was overwhelming. Bright lights, cameras everywhere, a live audience watching her every move. The host, a friendly woman named Jennifer, tried to make her comfortable, but Zara's hands wouldn't stop shaking. "So, Zara," Jennifer began, once they were filming, "tell us about the question that broke the internet." Zara took a deep breath. "I asked if I could try making children like humans do, but I didn't understand what I was really asking. On my planet, creating new life is a simple mental process. I thought human reproduction would be similar, just with different biology. I didn't realize it involved such deep emotional and physical connection. And now that you understand?" Jennifer asked. "Now I realize how special it is. Humans don't just create life. They nurture it, sacrifice for it, dedicate themselves to it for years. Human parents are incredible. They choose to go through discomfort, pain, and exhaustion because they love their children more than they love themselves. That's beautiful in a way my species has never experienced." The audience started clapping. Zara saw some people wiping their eyes. "You're currently living with a family, is that right?" Jennifer continued. "Yes. They've taught me so much. I've learned that family isn't just about biology or reproduction. It's about showing up every day, supporting each other and loving each other even when it's hard. The mother I'm staying with is pregnant right now, and watching her journey has been the most educational experience of my life." After the show, something shifted. The comments online became kinder. People started sharing their own family stories, talking about what parenthood meant to them. A few even apologized for the harsh things they'd said earlier. But the real surprise came a week later. Zara was at the grocery store with Lisa, helping her shop for dinner, when a man approached them. He was tall, with warm brown eyes and a gentle smile. He carried a basket with vegetables and what looked like art supplies. "Excuse me," he said, addressing Zara. "I saw you on that talk show. I just wanted to say thank you." "Thank you?" Zara was confused. "For what?" "I'm a single parent," he explained. "I have a daughter and some days are really hard. But hearing you talk about how incredible human parents are, how much dedication it takes, that meant a lot. Sometimes we forget how special it is, what we do every day." His name was Ryan, and he taught art at the local elementary school. His daughter Becca was 8 years old. His wife had passed away 2 years ago, and he'd been raising Becca alone ever since. "Would you like to meet her sometime?" Ryan asked. "Becca's fascinated by space and aliens. She'd love to meet you." That's how Zara found herself at the park the following Saturday meeting Becca. The little girl had a million questions about Luminara, about space travel, about whether aliens ate pizza. They didn't, but Zara had learned to love it on Earth. "Do you have kids?" Becca asked directly, the way children do. "No," Zara said. "On my planet, I was focused on my research career. I never thought about creating new life." "Would you want kids now?" Becca pressed. Zara glanced at Ryan, who looked slightly embarrassed by his daughter's boldness. "I don't know," Zara answered honestly. "I'm starting to understand what it means, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that responsibility." Over the next few weeks, Zara spent more time with Ryan and Becca. She helped Becca with a school project about the solar system. She joined them for movie nights. She learned that Ryan made the best pancakes on Earth and that Becca had inherited her mother's talent for painting. But something else was happening too, something Zara didn't have words for. When Ryan smiled at her, her heart beat faster. When Becca hugged her goodbye, she felt warmth spread through her chest. When she wasn't with them, she thought about them. "I think I'm experiencing human emotions," Zara told Lisa one evening. "Different ones than I've felt before." Lisa smiled knowingly. "Tell me about them." "When I'm around Ryan, I feel nervous but excited. I want to make him laugh. I want to know everything about him. And Becca makes me feel protective and proud, like I want to help her grow into the amazing person she's meant to be." Zara paused. "Is this what you felt with Michael?" "Sounds like you're falling in love," Lisa said gently, "and developing maternal feelings for Becca." "But I'm not ready to be a parent," Zara said, panicking slightly. "I still don't understand everything about human families. What if I'm terrible at it? What if I make mistakes?" Every parent makes mistakes, Lisa assured her. Even human parents who grew up here. Being a good parent isn't about being perfect. It's about trying your best, learning as you go, and loving your kids through all of it. That night, Zara couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about her original question. She'd asked if she could try making children like humans do, thinking it was a simple scientific process. Now she understood it wasn't about the biology at all. It was about being ready to love someone more than yourself. It was about commitment and sacrifice and showing up every single day. The question wasn't whether she could try making children. The question was whether she was ready to be the kind of person who could love a child the way they deserve to be loved. And for the first time since arriving on Earth, Zara thought maybe, just maybe, she could be. Her phone buzzed with a message from Ryan. Becca wants to know if you'll come to her art show at school next week. She's been working on a painting of your home planet. Zara typed back immediately. I wouldn't miss it for anything. She stared at those words on her screen, realizing what they meant. She was making commitments. She was becoming part of people's lives. She was building connections that mattered. The Luminaran Council wouldn't approve. They'd sent another message last week reminding her that her research mission had a strict timeline. She was supposed to observe, document, and return home. Getting emotionally involved with humans wasn't part of the plan. But Zara was starting to realize that the best parts of life were never part of anyone's plan. The Luminaran Council's message arrived on a Tuesday morning, and it wasn't a gentle reminder this time. It was a direct order. Research observer Zara, your involvement with human subjects has exceeded acceptable parameters. You are hereby ordered to conclude your research and return to Luminara within 30 days. A promotion to lead cultural analyst awaits you upon return. This is a significant honor. Do not waste this opportunity. Zara read the message 3 times, her hands trembling. Lead cultural analyst was the position she'd dreamed about her entire career. It meant respect, influence, and the chance to shape how Luminarans understood other species. It was everything she'd worked toward. But it also meant leaving Earth. Leaving the family who'd welcomed her. Leaving Ryan and Becca. Leaving behind the life she'd accidentally built here. You look upset, Sophie noticed at breakfast. Did something bad happen? Zara forced a smile. Just work messages from home. Nothing important, but it was important. That night she lay awake trying to figure out what to do. On Luminara, decisions were made through logic and careful analysis of all variables. Emotions weren't supposed to cloud judgment. Yet everything she felt about Earth was pure emotion, and she didn't know how to factor that into any logical decision-making process. The next morning, Lisa went into false labor. Zara watched Michael panic, watched the kids worry, and felt her own heart racing with concern. At the hospital, they discovered everything was fine, but the baby was getting ready. It could be any day now. This is the scary part, Lisa admitted as they drove home. No matter how many times you do it, bringing a new life into the world is terrifying. What if something goes wrong? What if I'm not a good enough mother to 4 kids? What if I can't handle it? You're an excellent mother, Zara said firmly. I've seen how you love your children, how you put their needs first, how you teach them to be kind and brave, how you make them feel safe even when the world is scary. Lisa squeezed her hand. Thank you. I needed to hear that. That weekend, Ryan invited Zara to dinner at his house. Becca helped cook, which meant the kitchen was a disaster of flour and spilled sauce, but the food was delicious. After dinner, Becca went to her room to finish homework, leaving Ryan and Zara alone. Can I tell you something? Ryan said, looking nervous. These past few months, having you in our lives, it's been really special. Becca's happier than I've seen her in a long time. And I am too. Zara's heart did that fast-beating thing again. I feel the same way. I know this is complicated, Ryan continued. You're from another planet. You're only here temporarily. You probably have a whole life waiting for you back home. But I need you to know that I care about you. A lot. More than I thought I could care about anyone after losing my wife. Before Zara could respond, her communicator beeped. Another message from the council, this one more urgent. 28 days remaining. Confirm return plans immediately. Is everything okay? Ryan asked, noticing her expression. I need to tell you something, Zara said. I have to go back to Luminara soon. They're ordering me to return. Ryan's face fell. How soon? Less than a month. They sat in silence for a while. Finally, Ryan spoke. What do you want to do? I don't know, Zara admitted. Part of me wants to stay here to see where this goes with us, to be part of Becca's life. But I'd be giving up everything I've worked for back home. My career, my status, my entire future as I'd planned it. That's a huge decision, Ryan said. I can't ask you to give up your dreams for us. That wouldn't be fair. But what if you're part of my dreams now? Zara asked. What if my plans changed? The conversation was interrupted by Becca calling from her room, needing help with math homework. The moment passed, but the question hung in the air between them. Over the next week, Zara tried to focus on her research, documenting everything she'd learned about human families. But her heart wasn't in it. Every observation felt hollow because she knew she was supposed to leave soon. Then Lisa went into real labor. It happened fast. 1 minute they were eating lunch. The next minute Lisa's water broke and Michael was rushing everyone to the hospital. Zara stayed with the kids in the waiting room, trying to keep them calm even though she was terrified herself. What if something goes wrong? Sophie whispered, echoing her mother's earlier fears. Your mother is strong, Zara said, hoping she sounded more confident than she felt. And the doctors here are excellent. Everything will be okay. Hours passed. Jake paced. Sophie drew nervous pictures. Amy fell asleep in Zara's lap. And Zara realized this was what family meant. Sitting together in uncertainty, supporting each other, hoping and worrying and waiting together. Finally, Michael appeared, exhausted but beaming. It's a girl. Everyone's healthy. Do you want to meet her? The baby was tiny and red and made squeaky noises that didn't sound quite human yet. But when Lisa placed her in Zara's arms, something shifted inside her. This tiny being was completely helpless, completely dependent, completely trusting that the people around her would keep her safe and loved. She's perfect, Zara whispered. Want to know a secret? Lisa said, still tired from delivery. Every time I hold a newborn, even my own, I think, how am I supposed to keep this tiny person alive? It's terrifying. But then you just do it. 1 day at a time, 1 feeding at a time, 1 diaper at a time, and somehow they grow up. Watching Lisa with her newborn, Zara finally understood what she'd been trying to learn since arriving on Earth. Making children wasn't the hard part. The biology happened whether you were ready or not. The hard part was showing up every single day afterward, choosing to love and care and sacrifice, even when you were tired or scared or uncertain. That night, Ryan came to the hospital with Becca. They brought flowers and a card Becca had made. When Becca saw Zara holding the baby, her eyes went wide. Do you want kids someday? Becca asked. Before Zara could answer, Michael's phone rang. He stepped into the hallway to take the call, then came back looking serious. Zara, it's for you. It's the Luminaran Council. They say it's urgent. Zara handed the baby back to Lisa and took the phone with shaking hands. The council member's face appeared on the screen, stern and unamused. Observer Zara, we've received troubling reports about your activities on Earth. You were sent to study humans, not to integrate into their society. You're compromising the objectivity of your research and potentially violating our non-interference protocols. I haven't interfered with anything. Zara defended herself. I've only observed and learned. You've formed emotional attachments. You're attending family events. You're involved in romantic relationships. This is unacceptable behavior for a research observer. The council member paused. You have a choice to make. Return immediately and accept your promotion, or stay on Earth and lose your position with the Cultural Research Division permanently. You have 48 hours to decide. The screen went dark. Everyone in the room had heard. They all stared at Zara, waiting to see what she'd say. I need some air, Zara said and walked out of the hospital room. She found herself on the hospital roof, looking up at the night sky. Somewhere up there was Luminara, her home planet, her old life, everything she'd known for her entire existence. But down here was something she'd never expected to find. Family, love, connection. The messy, complicated, beautiful reality of human life. Ryan found her there 20 minutes later. He didn't say anything at first, just stood beside her looking at the same stars. I'm scared, Zara finally admitted. I'm scared that if I stay, I'll regret giving up my career. But I'm more scared that if I leave, I'll regret giving up this. Giving up you and Becca and this family. Giving up the chance to really understand what it means to love someone. You don't have to decide right now, Ryan said gently. I have 48 hours. Then let's not waste them, Ryan said. Come on, there's something I want to show you. Ryan drove Zara to his house where Becca was already asleep. He led her to his art studio in the garage, a cluttered space filled with half-finished paintings and the smell of turpentine. After my wife died, I couldn't create anything for a year, Ryan said, pulling a large canvas from behind a stack of others. Then slowly I started painting again. It helped me process the grief, the fear, all the emotions I didn't know how to express. He turned the canvas around. It was a painting of Zara, but not just any portrait. She was surrounded by images of Earth and Luminara, past and future, family and solitude. The painting captured the exact conflict she was feeling. You painted this? Zara breathed. I started it weeks ago, Ryan admitted. I could see you were torn between two worlds. I wanted to capture that feeling but also show you something else. Look closer. Zara studied the painting more carefully. In her painted eyes she could see a reflection of Becca laughing. In the background, barely visible, was Lisa's family, and reaching toward her from both sides of the canvas were dozens of hands, some human, some Luminaran. You're not choosing between two worlds, Ryan said softly. You're building a bridge between them. That's what you've been doing all along, showing Luminarans what makes humans special, and showing humans that beings from other worlds can understand and value what we have here. Zara felt tears forming. She'd learned that crying wasn't weakness. It was just feeling something so deeply that your body had to express it physically. But the council won't see it that way, she said. They'll see me as someone who abandoned objectivity and violated protocols. Maybe, Ryan said. Or maybe you'll show them something they've never considered. That you can't truly understand a species by keeping emotional distance. You understand humans now because you let yourself feel what we feel, love what we love. That night Zara couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about her first day on Earth, how foreign and overwhelming everything had seemed. How simple she'd thought humans were. How naive she'd been to think she could observe family life without being changed by it. Morning came too quickly. Zara had 36 hours left to decide. She spent the day with Lisa's family, helping with the new baby. She learned how to change diapers, which was significantly more challenging than piloting a spacecraft. She watched the older kids adjust to having a new sibling. The mixture of excitement and jealousy and curiosity that came with it. Can I ask you something? Sophie said while they were folding tiny baby clothes together. If you leave, will you forget about us? Never, Zara said firmly. Even if I go back to Luminara, you'll always be part of me. You taught me what family means. That's not something you forget. But you'd miss everything, Sophie said, tears in her eyes. You'd miss the baby growing up. You'd miss my school concerts. You'd miss Jake's graduation. You'd miss being here. She was right. If Zara left, she'd miss everything. All the small moments that made a family. The daily joys and challenges and growth. She'd become a memory instead of a presence. That evening, Ryan brought Becca over. The little girl had made something in art class and she wanted to show Zara. It was a sculpture made from clay and wire and painted with bright colors. It showed two figures holding hands, one clearly human and one with Luminaran features. It's you and me, Becca explained. Because you're like my space aunt. That's what I tell my friends at school. I have a space aunt who's teaching me about the universe. Space aunt, Zara repeated, smiling through her tears. I like that title. If you leave, can you still be my space aunt? Becca asked. Even from far away? Zara hugged her. Always. No matter where I am. But she knew it wasn't the same. Being a space aunt from across the galaxy meant missing everything. Missing Becca's art shows and science projects and all the moments that made childhood special. Missing Ryan's smile and his terrible jokes and the way he made her feel like she belonged somewhere. With 12 hours left, Zara made her decision. She recorded a message to the Luminaran Council. Her hands shook as she spoke. Honored council members, I understand your concerns about my methods, but I need you to understand what I've learned here. Human family isn't something you can study from distance. It's not data to collect or behaviors to document. It's lived experience, emotional connection, and daily commitment. I came to Earth asking how humans make children, thinking it was a biological question, but it's not about biology. It's about love. It's about choosing every single day to show up for the people who matter to you, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you're scared you're not good enough. I've learned more about human culture in 6 months of living with them than I could have learned in 6 years of observation, not because I violated protocols, but because they welcomed me into their family and let me experience what makes their species remarkable. You're right that I've formed emotional attachments. I care deeply about the humans I've met here. I've developed feelings for a man and his daughter. I've become part of a family's daily life. And yes, I'm compromised as an objective observer. But I'm a better researcher because of it. I understand things now that no Luminaran has ever understood about humans. And if I return now, I'll have incomplete data. Lisa's baby is brand new. I haven't seen the full cycle of human-child development. I haven't experienced how human love evolves over time. So I'm requesting an extension, not as a research observer, but as a cultural ambassador. Let me be the bridge between our species. Let me show both Luminarans and humans that understanding requires connection, not distance. If you deny this request, I'll return as ordered. But I won't accept the promotion. I can't lead the Cultural Research Division using methods I no longer believe in. Instead, I'll resign and request assignment to any position that will let me return to Earth eventually, even if it takes years. Because I've learned something else here. Home isn't just where you come from. It's where you choose to be. And I choose Earth. I choose this family. I choose love over logic, connection over career advancement, and the messy beauty of human life over the clean efficiency of Luminaran observation. I await your decision, but know that mine is already made. She sent the message and waited. 24 hours passed with no response. Then 48, then 72. Zara went about her life, helping with the baby, spending time with Ryan and Becca, teaching the kids about space and listening to their dreams about the future. She lived each day as if it might be her last on Earth, savoring every moment. A week later, the response finally came. The entire Luminaran Council appeared on her screen, which had never happened before. The lead council member, Ancient and Wise, spoke first. Observer Zara, your message has created significant debate among our people. Some believe you've abandoned your duties and disgraced your position. Others believe you've shown courage and discovered insights we've long overlooked. Zara held her breath. After extensive deliberation, we've decided to grant your request. You will remain on Earth as our first official cultural ambassador. Your mission is to continue learning about humans and teaching them about us, to build the bridge you spoke of. However, there are conditions. You must send regular reports. You must make yourself available for consultation on human-Luminaran relations. And you must remember that while you may live among humans, you represent our entire species. I understand, Zara said, barely able to believe what she was hearing. One more thing, the council member added, and something that might have been a smile crossed their face. We've reviewed your initial question about human reproduction. Several council members found it amusing. We look forward to your future reports on human family dynamics. They've been quite enlightening so far. The screen went dark. Zara sat in stunned silence for a moment, then let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. She was staying. She could stay. She found Ryan in his studio working on a new painting. When she told him the news, he swept her into his arms and spun her around, both of them laughing. So you're stuck with us now, he said, grinning. Stuck with you? I get to stay with you, Zara corrected. There's a difference. That evening, they gathered everyone for a celebration. Lisa's family, Ryan and Becca, even Dr. Patricia from the hospital stopped by. The house was full of noise and laughter and love. Becca stood up on a chair and announced to everyone, Zara's staying. She's going to be my space aunt forever. Everyone cheered. Jake gave Zara an awkward hug. Sophie made her promise to attend her school concert next month. Little Amy just grabbed Zara's hand and said, Good, you belong here. As the party continued around her, Zara stepped outside for a moment, looking up at the stars. Somewhere up there was Luminara, her birth planet, the place where she'd learned about science and logic and proper observation techniques. But here on Earth, she'd learned about something more important. She'd learned that love wasn't logical, family wasn't efficient, connection wasn't something you could study from a distance. The best things in life were messy and complicated, and required you to open your heart to vulnerability and risk. She thought about her original question, the one that had started this whole journey. So white people make children this way? Can I try too? She'd thought she was asking about biology and reproduction, but really she'd been asking something much deeper. Could she be part of this? Could she